Hi. Hi, how are you? Please. Yes, I'm not worried. If you have any questions about stuff, let me know, and we can do some.
Just prenatal too, so I'm pretty good with like substitution.
Great. Love to see you. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Hi, Claire. Good to see you. Ay, ay, ay. Hi, friend. Like already sweating and haven't done anything. I've just been like laying horizontal in my house. Okay. Matt, Chris, did you guys see the horseshoe crabs?
There was still
Some,
sure.
yeah.
It wasn't a giant pile.
Yeah.
They're still rolling around in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This past weekend, I was up at like near Seaside Heights, and there's these endangered birds called the piping plovers. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
And I saw 3 of their babies that were like they were 9 days away from being able to fly and like go into the ocean. But one of the women who is a volunteer for the Fish and Wildlife Service was, describing them and talking about them. And as soon as I told her about the horseshoe crabs, she was like, "Oh, you mean the red knots?" I was like, "Yes, yes, I know. I understand you all are interconnected with each other." So when I saw you guys signed up for class, I was like, I gotta ask them to see how it went.
Yeah, it's been good. They're still down there.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago they were down. They were still pretty heavy, but now it's kind of tailed
Yeah.
There's tons of other things.
Yeah.
On the bay.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of dolphins.
The house that you stay at is on the bay?
It's like, well, it's
Close, like
we're
on the
out
bay
back,
side.
so we just
Yeah,
walked
so we
out.
just walked
Yeah.
out.
We
Ugh.
were down there at sunset 2 nights ago. We saw a whole bunch of dolphins jumping out of the water.
No.
And
No.
we saw an osprey hunting.
Nature. You know? I'm scared of it sometimes, but sometimes it's really amazing.
Were the plover moms like being protected?
I didn't see any of the parents.
Oh,
The Fish and Wildlife lady said that plovers are like chickens and another bird where they don't stay in the nest. Like as soon as they hatch, they're free. So it's like the reason why they're endangered is because they don't have any protection. Yeah, so like the dad plover, from the male plover, he sometimes stands by the dunes and like distracts seagulls and things. So if you see him, you know that the babies are around. But they look like dirt. They look like rolling balls of sand that you can't tell. But they're very sweet.
Beach. I did work to survey beaches and we would like have to stand up at the dunes to like do the survey machine. And the plovers would like dive on.
Get out of my house!
You're like not allowed to do
Yeah,
protected.
yeah. And they know they're protected, so they're like, get away from me. Wow, nature. I'm so glad you saw them. Two, three, four, five, six, seven. Okay, we still have a couple of minutes before we get started, but it's a busy Monday. We're waiting on 7 more people. They can definitely fit. There's lots of room. But just in case you see an inch or two of space next to you in the rows, you might scooch a centimeter to the right or left because a mat might sneak in. But also, the treat is the later you come to class, the closer up to me you have to come. So there's lots and lots of room up here. But we use all the props. Hi. Good, how are you? No problem. Yeah. And if you want to leave your props, I can take them out after. Yes, yes, absolutely. Thanks for letting me know. We will use all of the treats. Blanket, 2 blocks, strap. I'd love to get some time to roll, so if you want to grab those therapy balls now, you can, or I can bring them to you towards the end of class to just squish ourselves to sleep, objectively. Is today a holiday? No, last week was. I'm so nosy. Anytime it's a Monday or I see people who I normally see at night who come during lunch, I'm like, what do you do? What you doing here? What are you saying this is? Okay, just a couple more. Hi. All right. We'll slowly get started. Take your time getting settled in, and a few more folks will trickle in as we come. You're more than welcome to be here. If you need to move when it gets too hot, feel free to move around anywhere. I do like how all of everyone has strategically positioned themselves outside of the sun line. But if you feel like they're getting too close and you need to move, you're not obligated to the spot that you're in. Feel free to transfer around anywhere. Okay, you made it. Arguably, the hardest part of class is leaving an air-conditioned house to go outside and then come into air conditioning. So hopefully it's cooled off a little bit. I can make it colder as we start to practice. Just let me know. And yes, the thoughts are unscrambling in here. For anyone new to me or to class, my name is Anisha. I'm very happy to be teaching today. I was lucky enough, 2 of my friends rented a house at the beach over the weekend, and the water temperature was 58 degrees. Is it too cold? Because it was now that I'm here, I'm like, maybe that's what's needed at all times. But, you know, the gift of the beach is so many things. It's going to tie into class today because while it was ice cold, it gave me a chance to sit on the shore and be able to watch the waves coming in. And if you've ever had a chance to do that, you've noticed, if you have ever noticed, or if you have friends who are surfers, waves often come in sets. You know, there's sometimes just one that occurs, but more often than not, they come in sets of 3. And whenever you talk or see surfers, they always let the first wave go because it's a known fact. And if anybody knows more about this, please tell me, or if I'm spreading false information, please tell me. But the first set is not often the one that you want to catch. It's usually the second or the third round that gives you the longest run or the longest time up on the board? Yeah? Okay, I'm talking about surfing as if I've ever surfed in my life before. I never have. But I'm thinking of this as we tie into our practice today. We're going to go upside down. I've deemed July the month of being upside down in different ways or forms. And we'll explore it in different ways and in different sets. And my invitation is, as we do sets of 3 of things, is to not necessarily use your first set of down dog or cobra or whichever variation that we're in as the one where you're in your most effortful pose. Give yourself time to just see what comes as the sets roll in. And so by the 3rd round, or the 2nd, you get to assess what energy you'd like to be putting forward. So we'll take lots of breaks. We'll go to the wall later on in the afternoon, later on in class. But hi, come on in. But the invitation is just to see the different variations of sets that come up. But hydrate, lay down, modify, spectate, take anything that you need, because the gift of this practice is it's not just today, it's not just next week, it's not just this lifetime, but we have lifetimes and lifetimes to be able to practice and see where it takes us. So if you wouldn't mind, can we actually start lying on our backs today? Can your heads be up towards me, your feet to the wall behind you? If you have a strap close by, you might have it within a grabbable distance. You may or may not use it as we start to move about. And if you need a strap, raise a hand and I can happily bring one over to you. But as you come to lay down on the ground, be in any way that you like. If you prefer to be more in that traditional Shavasana shape with your arms and legs long, you can. If there's anything happening in your low back or hips, you might, bless you, bend your knees, bring your feet on the floor and knock your knees into each other so that the weight of your legs can support the other. And as your hands fall anywhere on your body or alongside of you, let your eyes close or soften so you can listen for your breath. When we close our eyes, it gives us a moment to see ourselves more clearly than before. And even your breath comes in waves, it comes in sets. The first breath gives you a moment to dissolve the day that was. Your next breath may let you arrive to where you are now. And each breath that comes after makes space for what has yet to come. So as you let every set and every round of your breath wash its way over you, can you let your inhale move from the nose down into your belly and up into your heart? And as you exhale, offer the breath out through every direction of your being. Continue taking a few more of those breaths, just at your pace. Breathing not just into the front of your body, but can you send your breath into the back of your body, all of those points touching the floor beneath you. We'll start our practice, our time here with each other with 3 more rounds of that same breath. So wait for your next inhale as it fills you up completely. And exhale to offer all of that breath out. 2 more times on your own. At the bottom of your breath, pause for a moment. Take notice of any difference that comes when you listen for and remember your breath. And now keeping that attention as best as you can. Gently blink your eyes open if they're not already. And let's all bend the knees and bring both feet onto the earth. Give your right leg a hug in towards your belly or in towards your chest. Make any circles with that right foot or ankle. Spread your toes or point your toes. And just take a few breaths to notice what it feels like to not be on your feet with the upper back heavy against the earth. Now as you draw your right ankle back through center, either interlace your hands behind your right thigh, or you can find your strap like a big jump rope and bring it around the sole of your right foot. Start with the right knee bent for a moment. Press your right thigh away from your belly to the back of the room. And you can keep your right leg bent, or you might start to straighten your right heel towards the sky to feel more sensation in the back of your leg. With the arms long, give yourself enough slack on the strap to let your elbows tap down to the floor on either side of your body. And as you shrug your shoulders to your ears, wiggle the shoulder blades together. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, you might point the right toes towards the sky to feel more in the shin and the front of the ankle. Now draw the right foot back through center. Bring both edges of the strap into just your left hand and straighten your left leg long out in front of you onto the earth. 1 inch at a time, begin to move that right leg over to the left for a twist, starting on the earth. The right leg might hover high up off the ground. It might come close to the earth, but only go as much as you need to keep that right shoulder heavy on the ground. Take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out through every direction of your being. And now on your next inhale, draw the right leg back up through center, slip it out from the strap, and lower the right foot down onto the ground. Give the left leg a hug in towards your belly or in towards your chest. Start with those circles in the left foot or ankle. Try and spread and point the toes. And just take notice of what it feels like to have no weight on the soles of your feet. And now as you draw that left leg back through center, either interlace your hands behind the left thigh, take that awkward thumb or pinky on top, or find your strap to lasso around the foot. Slowly begin to straighten the left leg up towards the sky. As the heel reaches towards the ceiling, can you shrug both shoulders to the ears, snuggle the shoulder blades towards each other, and feel your upper back heavy against the ground. Take a long breath in, breathe into the belly, the back of your chest. And as you exhale, offer all of that breath out. And now with both edges of the strap into just your right hand, straighten your right leg long out in front of you. Flex that left foot, and 1 inch at a time, begin to move the left leg over to the right. You might notice sensation in the back of your left leg, maybe in the outside of your left leg itself. But let the left shoulder get heavy to the ground as the back of your head softens to the earth. Take a big breath in as best as you can, and exhale to offer all of that breath out. And now on your inhale, draw that left leg up through center, slip it out from the strap, and lower both feet down onto the earth. Give your legs a hug in towards your belly or in towards your chest. Make any circles in one or the other direction. Maybe you lean from side to side, but a big breath in, and exhale to offer all of that breath out. And now find one of your blocks if you have it close by. Place the block in between your thighs to give your legs something solid to squeeze into. It can come at its narrowest height, but as you find the block between your legs, let your knees come over your hips so that your thighs are vertical, and flex through your feet so your legs are at a 90-degree angle. Arms can come on your person or alongside of you, pressing down into the earth, but squeeze the block together with your thighs. And now notice if your low back is fluttering up off the ground. Can you feel your ribs move to the earth to let the low back soften? Now take a big breath in here. Stay for your exhale and offer all of that breath out. Take one more big breath in, and as you exhale, shush it out. Shh. Keep that hollowness in your belly as you take a big breath in. And now as you exhale to shush, draw your heels towards the earth as you squeeze the block, keeping your low back on the earth. Inhale to draw the knees back up over your hips. And continue on your own as you exhale, lower the heels as you shush. 3 more times. Feel that ocean-like quality of your breath. Every exhale, shh. Every inhale, the legs come back up. Take 1 or 2 more rounds. Flex or point your feet as the back of your head and shoulders stay heavy on the earth. And the next time you draw the knees back up through center, release the block from between your thighs and give them one more big hug in towards your belly or chest. Let the belly be soft. Let the back of your head soften. And now the next place we'll meet is in tabletop. So find your way off of your back. You might roll back and forth or roll onto one side. to find your way to all fours facing the front of the room. Have your blocks in front of your mat as you come to table. And at your pace, start to link your breath and movement together through a few rounds of cat and cow. Round and arch your spine at your pace. We'll be here for 5 or 6 breaths, so go at your own pace rather than my voice. Feel free to stay rounded or arched for a few extra cycles of breath. You might take a few breaths moving forward and back from child's pose or letting your shoulders come over your wrists. But continue to feel those sets of your breath. Each inhale fills you up more than before, and each exhale offers itself out through each direction of you. When you find your next breath or two, make your way back to table. And now walk your hands forward of your shoulders, walk your knees back behind your hips, and with those toes tucked under, we'll meet in downward facing dog. As you lift your hips up to the sky, take as much time or as many breaths as you'd like to find your way there. In your down dog, feel free to stay still or pedal your heels one at a time simultaneously and offering to your breath itself. As we make our way towards going upside down, this is the first round of being there where your head is below your heart. So as you offer it to your breath, what's the quality of your breath here? Taking a slower, steadier breath in and a long, clear exhale out. At the bottom of your breath, lift your heels high, soften your knees, peek forward, and 1 foot at a time, walk your feet up towards your hands to come into your forward fold. You can bring your hands up on blocks out in front of your feet so the floor comes higher to meet you. You might widen your feet an inch or two to give your low back and hips some extra room. Feel free to even bend your knees a lot until your fingertips tap the earth. But bow in towards yourself, maybe even slowly nod your head yes or no, and just let the weight of gravity let you get heavier to the earth. Take a big breath in and a longer breath out. Now hands climb up to your hips, stand through your legs, and a big inhale to come all the way to rise as you release your hands. With your feet under your hips, wait for the inhale to reach the arms forward and up. On your exhale, soften your knees and fold over your legs. Inhale brings you halfway to lengthen, reach the chest forward to the front of the room, and exhale to step it back to plank pose, the top of your push-up. Take a full breath here, reach the tailbone back and slide the chest forward, big breath in, and on your exhale, bend your elbows to lower all the way down to your belly. With your hands as wide as your mat, inhale to rise for cobra or baby cobra, lift the chest, and exhale to take it back to downward facing dog, or table or puppy pose for 3 steady breaths. As you listen for the sound of your breath, that ocean-like quality that the breath naturally has, can you take an inhale to hug your hands towards each other from right to left? And as you exhale from in between your shoulder blades, push through your arms to lift your hips up and back towards the wall behind. Now at the bottom of your breath, lift your heels high, soften your knees, look forward, and come forward to the top of your mat. Wait for the inhale to bring you halfway up to lengthen, grow long through your spine, and exhale to keep that length as you fold and bow in. Take a breath to rise, stand through your legs, reach up to touch the sky, and exhale to release. Let the hands come by your sides. Okay, a few sets here. So on your next inhale, watch for your neighbors around you. Big breath in to reach the arms up and overhead. Now stay tall as you exhale, release the hands down by your sides. Twice more, big inhale, breathe into the belly, into the chest. Exhale to grow taller through the crown of your head as the arms come down. One more big breath in, reach up, touch the sky. And on your exhale, soften your knees and fold over your legs. 3 times. As you inhale, come up halfway, grow long through your spine. And exhale to fold, bowing in. Wait for your breath. Inhale to come up halfway. Once again, grow long. As you exhale, let your whole breath let you fold over the legs. One more slow and steady breath. Come up halfway to lengthen. Big exhale to fold and bow in. Now plant your palms to the top of your mat. Walk your feet to the back of your mat to take it back to downward facing dog as you lift your hips to the sky. Inhale to come forward to plank pose, shoulders over the wrists, look forward. And as you exhale, tiny bend in your knees and stick your tush up and back to take it right back to down dog. Let's ripple through that twice more. Big breath in from down dog to plank, reach the chest forward. As you exhale, soften the knees and from your tush, lift up and back. One more time, drink the breath in as you come forward to plank, look forward. And as you exhale from your hips, lift up and back to take it to down dog. Now last round, inhale the plank pose, top of your push-up. Take a full breath in here and exhale to lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Bring your hands as wide as your mat, take up space. And for these 3 rounds of Cobra, take your inhale to lift up through the chest. Remember, first round doesn't need to be your most drastic. Take notice of what you feel. And on your exhale, release, lower down. Wait for the inhale as you rise, Cobra once again. Press the tops of your feet down, hug your shoulder blades together, and let your exhale lower you back to the earth. One more big breath in to rise. Hug your palms towards each other. Try to tug your hands back to your hips as the upper back curls you to the sky. Drink in that breath and exhale to release, lower down. Tuck your toes under. Plant your palms, push through the ground to rise, table or plank. And on your exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. From your down dog, float the right leg up and back. Step it forward to catch your lunge. And on an inhale, come on up to rise for high lunge. Reach the arms, the chest, and the torso to the sky. Feel free to walk that right foot over to the right as much as you need so you're less on a tightrope. And now lift the back thigh, stretch up through the fingers, try to look away from the ground. Take a big breath in here. Stay for your exhale as you descend into that front thigh. And now hands come to your hips. Take all the hops you need to spring off your left foot, scoop the left thigh to your chest, and lower the left foot down. Feel gravity beneath. Bend your knees, sit your hips low into chair pose. Lean into your left foot, lift your right heel. For standing figure 4, cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Hands can stay on your hips. They might come out into blocks out in front of you so you can hold something solid. They might even lift up overhead. But as you flex that right foot, take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Think hips to the back of your mat as you let the heart lift up to the sky. And now inhale to come all the way to rise. Lower the right foot, reach both arms up to the sky, get tall. Grab onto your right wrist and go up and over to the left for standing crescent. As you breathe into that right side of your waist, your hips might sway off center over to the right. And as you tip to the left, slide the throat back to lift your chin. Inhale to bring it back up through center, touch the sky. And exhale to fold, bowing in towards yourself. Plant your palms to the top of your mat, step your feet to the back of your mat to take it to downward facing dog. Follow your breath. Inhale through to plank pose a few more times together. As you exhale, lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Wait for your inhale to rise. Bhujangasana Cobra. Slide the ears back to lift your chin. And exhale to take it back to down dog or table or child's pose. A full round of breath in and a long, clear breath out. Now for the second side, float the left leg to the sky. Step it forward to catch your lunge. Slow, steady breath in to rise for high lunge on the second side. Walk the left foot as much as you need to the left. And as you lift up through the back thigh, reach up through the fingertips and see if you can look away from the floor in front of you. Take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Bend into that front thigh as you stretch up through the fingertips. And now hands can stay overhead or bring them to your hips as we spring off the right foot, right thigh up to the chest. Grow 1 inch taller. And now lower both feet to the ground. Bend your knees, sit your hips back. Lean into the right foot. Lift your left heel and cross your left ankle over the right thigh. Good. Flex that left foot as best as you can. And as the hips go to the back of your mat, lift the chest up to the sky. Take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for the exhale. Grow tall up through the crown of your head. And now inhale to come up to rise, lower the left foot, reach the arms to the sky as you grab the left wrist, grow up and over to the right for standing crescent on the second side. Sides are different, hips are different, shoulders can be different. So take a breath to notice what you're working with on side 2. And as your hips tip to the left and you move to the right, slide the ears back to lift your chin. And now big breath in to come up through center, touch the sky, get even taller. As you exhale, fold and bow in. Plant your palms to the top of your mat, walk your feet to the back of your mat to take it to downward facing dog. Last time together, wait for the inhale to come forward to plank. Wait for your exhale to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Let your inhale bring you up to rise, Bhujangasana. Really press the feet into the earth. And exhale to take it back to a downward facing dog. Take a long, steady breath in. And as you exhale, push through those arms to lift up and back through your hips. Now inhale to float the right leg up and back. All right, here we go, a few sets. As you exhale, carve your right knee to your nose for this version of core plank. Shoulders come right over your wrists. Lift the left thigh higher, and maybe you scoop the right knee 1 more inch forward. Now big breath in, reach up and back through the right leg. Wait for your exhale, try it again. Right knee to your nose. Push through the ground, scoop the right thigh forward. Big breath in, reach up and back through the right leg. And now on your exhale, step that right foot through to catch your lunge. Pivot your back heel to the ground. Wait for your inhale to rise. Warrior 2. Good. Feel your feet on the earth. Let the right knee and toes point straight ahead. And as you look away from the ground, take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale. You might bend into that front thigh. We move with the breath. As you inhale, straighten the right leg. Reach the arms up, get tall. As you exhale, descend back to Warrior 2. Twice more. Big inhale, fill the belly up into the chest. Exhale to push the floor away from you as you grow tall through the crown of your head. 1 more. Big breath in, grow taller. As you exhale, let the front thigh descend. Now keep the legs steady. Just reach both arms up to the sky. Bend your right elbow. Give yourself a pat on the upper back and let the left fingertips hold on. Think elbow to the ceiling. Press your head back to lift your chin, and then slide the ribs back to steady the middle of your back. Stay right here, or we've done a side stretch. If you'd like to tip up and back, you can, but take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale, lift the right elbow up and bend 1 more inch into that right thigh as you guide your right knee open towards your pinky toes. And then inhale to bring it back up through center, arms to a T, and push the right leg straight. Turn the right toes to face the long edge of your mat. Watch for any butts in front of you as you hinge and fold over your legs. Your hands can come to blocks or the floor underneath your shoulders. And as you bow in towards yourself, see what it feels like to lift and spread your toes for a moment. We started on the ground, feeling the ankles, the feet. As you lift and spread your toes, take a breath to see where the weight falls in the corners of your feet. And now squeeze your legs together from front to back. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, you might soften the elbows as you bow in towards yourself. Take 1 more breath in this shape of being upside down. What's the quality of your breath? As you exhale, offer all of that breath out. And now with your head heavy, let's back it up. Turn the right knee and toes to face the front of the room. Plant your palms. We meet again in downward facing dog. Take a breath or 2 here to arrive. You can stay in your down dog. At any point, you can lower your knees to the floor and take a few breaths close to gravity. Or your breath might take you through one of those linking vinyasas we've done together already. But let it be an offering to your breath. Each breath comes in and out in every direction of you. Take 1 more full, steady breath in. And on your exhale, we'll meet again in downward facing dog. No rush. Float the left leg to the sky. As you exhale, carve the left knee to your nose. Can you let the shoulders come over your wrists? And now as you push through the ground, lift the back thigh higher. And into that, maybe you carve the left knee 1 inch further forward. Inhale to extend up and back through the left leg. One more exhale, knee to nose. Push through the ground, look forward, scoop the left thigh 1 more inch forward. And inhale to extend up and back. Now as you exhale, step it all the way through to catch your lunge. Pivot your back heel down. On an inhale, come up to rise for warrior 2 on the second side. Good. With the left toes pointing ahead, the left knee pointing ahead. See if you can look away from the ground as you take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for the exhale, bend into the front thigh as you grow tall through the crown of your head. Now with the breath, inhale to straighten the front knee, reach up, touch the sky. As you exhale, descend back into warrior 2. Twice more, breathe into the belly, into the chest. Exhale to descend into that front thigh. 1 more full breath in into every corner of your being. And on your exhale, let the front leg get heavy. Now keep those legs where they are as you reach just the arms up to the sky. Bend your right left elbow. Give yourself a pat on the upper back. Let the right fingertips hold on. Elbow up towards the sky. Head back to lift your chin. And then ribs back to steady the low back. Stay here, or if you did so on side 1, you might tip back towards the wall behind you. But take a bigger breath in. Stay for 1 more exhale. Bend into that front thigh as you guide your left knee open away from your big toe. And then inhale to come up through center. Release those arms to a T and push the left leg straight. Turn the left toes to face the long edge of your mat. We'll take this one with a shoulder stretch. So if you'd like to grab a strap between your hands, you can grab a strap at your low back, or you might interlace your fingers at your low back. But start with your elbows very bent to begin. Hug your shoulder blades together. And now as you fold over your legs, elbows stay bent as the arms reach up overhead. As you bow in towards yourself, feel the strap or feel your fingers between your hands. And now give them a tug. Tug your strap apart to bring the shoulder blades together on the upper back. Take a big breath in, fill up the belly, fill up the chest. Stay for your exhale, tug your strap apart, and maybe your arms go overhead towards the long edge of your mat. And now on an inhale, release those hands back to your tush. Ditch the strap if you have it. Turn the left knee and toes to catch your lunge. And we meet again in downward facing dog, hips to the sky. Pedal the heels, take a breath or 2 to notice. Stay here, lower the knees to the ground, or let your breath take you through one of those linking vinyasas we've done together before. But an offering to that breath, a slower, deeper breath in, and a big, clear exhale out. Okay. When you find your way back, let's all meet in tabletop. Come onto your hands and your knees. Sit back onto your heels. Sip some water, shake it out. Take anything that you need. 62 in here, if that's helpful. And the fans are on full helicopter mode, so take breaks. Do anything you need. There's 2 more things I want to try out. We got to get some thigh stuff and some hip stuff before we take it to the wall. So let us come to tabletop. Let's take a thigh stretch with a twist. If you'd like to pad your blanket, your knees up with a blanket, you're more than welcome to do so. You might have your blocks close by, but find your way to all fours when you're ready and hydrated. And now step your right foot to the outside of your right hand for that lizard lunge shape. Your hands can be on the ground, they can be up on blocks, but with the back knee down, hug your left knee forward, and now bend your back knee to lift your back toes up off the earth. Take a few breaths here, or the left hand stays steady as your right hand either comes to your hip or reaches back for the left foot. You might lasso a strap around the foot, you might hold your toes or the leg of your pants. But if you have a hold of that leg, shrug the top right shoulder up and back. Shrug the left shoulder up and back. And then slide the ears back to lift your chin. Take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale. You might bend 1 more inch into that front right thigh. And now inhale to slowly release the hold of your leg, plant your palms, and take it back to tabletop. Take a few breaths in stillness or a few breaths through round of cat and cow, just to link your breath and movement back together. And now as you find your way to all fours again, side 2, left foot to the outside of your left hand for that lizard lunge. As you hug your back knee forward, bend your right knee, lift the right toes up off the earth. Stay right here breathing, or the right hand can stay down on the ground as your left palm perhaps comes to the thigh or reaches around to grab the foot or a strap or the leg of your pants. That's it. As you twist open to the left, shrug the left top shoulder to your ear, and then squeeze the left shoulder blade to the spine to broaden through the chest. Can you slide the ears back so your head is over your heart as you take a bigger breath in, a longer breath out, and bend 1 more inch into that front thigh. And now inhale to slowly release the hold of your leg. Plant your palms, take it back to table, find your way to your hands and your knees, and a breath or two here in a few rounds of cat and cow. Link your breath and movement together as you round and arch your spine. Okay. Find your way back to table. Plant your palms down onto the ground. We'll meet in downward facing dog as you lift your hips up to the sky. Pedal the heels one at a time, just here for a breath as the hips grow tall. And now from your down dog, lift your heels high, soften your knees, look forward, and 1 foot at a time, walk your feet up towards your hands to come into your forward fold. Inhale brings you halfway up to lengthen, grow long. Big exhale to fold as you bow in towards yourself. Take a long breath in to rise, stand down through your legs, reach up, touch the sky, and exhale to let the hands come down by your sides. Okay, to the wall. Let's go to the wall. Bring the short edges of your mat with you to the wall. We're gonna work on a pose. It is an inversion, but we'll use lots of support to get there. So there's room here. There should be plenty of room for each of us. Everyone finding some room? Okay, great. So in the canon of inversions, last week we worked on forearm stand, there's handstand, headstand, and there's one that we don't necessarily do here too much at Three Queens, but we're gonna do it today because why not? Sarvangasana, or shoulder stand. So this is a pose where the back of your head, your upper back will be on the ground, but no muscles in your neck will be on the earth. So if you see this version that I'm showing you, the first one we're gonna do is with lots and lots of support, a blanket, your feet touching the wall. If you have any neck or shoulder stuff happening that this pose doesn't feel anything but sweet, please don't do this version. You can do legs up the wall for Viparita Karani, which I'll show you, and some alternative options. But the way this one is gonna look, you give yourself a moment to just hydrate, to reset, is with the short edge of your mat to the wall, you might fold your blanket in half this way and fold your mat in half and bring the blanket to the very top. So you're creating a little shelf for your neck. And how this will look is as you come to lie on your back, there's different ways of getting there. I'll talk you through this. One tush to the wall, and then swing your legs up said wall. You might need to move around a little bit so that your shoulders, if you can see, it's not my neck that's on the lip of the blanket or the block, but there's lots of space between my neck and the floor to create a lot of length. And now this one's gonna look like this. We started on the ground doing those ab things. What's happening here? Okay. We started on our back doing those ab work. You wanna feel your palms on the ground, and as you push your palms into the floor and feet into the wall, your hips will start to lift up. Now I really invite you to stay here the whole time without moving the neck. Once you come up, you wanna keep your head steady and focus on the space between your chin and your chest. You might wiggle the shoulder blades together. This is a phenomenal variation to be in. You can also bring one palm at a time to your low back and snuggle the shoulder blades together. And only if you want to, you can explore lifting one leg up and then the other leg up. And then if you'd like to lift both legs, you can lift both legs up the wall. But the wall will always be there for you to push your feet into to lift your hips up. So I invite you to stay here. I invite you to be here if you want to explore some balance, and only if you so desire. And then to come on out, it's feet down to the wall, butt down, and you're going to stay here for 3 to 5 breaths before you come up to lift up. Yeah? If you saw that and you're like, no, I really, no desire, you can do exactly the same version, but without lifting your hips up. Meaning, you stay here and breathe the whole time, without bending the knees, without lifting the hips, and feeling some softening on the earth. And if you're in that legs up, I'm always scared I'm going to pull this curtain down. If you're in that legs up the wall version, take 3 to 5 breaths. So if you're coming into shoulder stand and you want to use the blanket, fold your mat in half and bring your blanket to where that squishy part of your mat is. And now you come to lie on your back, and your head will be on the floor, not on the blanket, but your head will be on the floor, and just your shoulders will be on the blanket itself. And now bend your knees down the wall, bring your arms alongside of you, and press your palms down into the floor. Now as you push your feet into the wall, maybe you stay or your hips begin to lift up off of the floor. Wiggle your shoulder blades towards each other before you lift the feet up off the wall. Wiggle the shoulder blades towards each other. And focus on the space between your chin and your chest. Let the chin and chest come towards each other as you find length in the back of your neck. Only if you so desire, you can bring one hand to your low back, the other hand to your low back. Stay here as you wiggle the shoulder blades together. Or 1 foot at a time might lift up towards the sky. 3 to 5 breaths in any variation that you're in. Feel the space between your chin and your chest. Keep hugging the shoulder blades towards each other. And slow and steady that breath down. If you're in that version of shoulder stand, there's no rush to come out. But when you'd like to come out, the wall is right there. One or both feet can touch the wall. You can release your hands from your low back. Lower your tush down onto the earth and take 2 or 3 deep breaths against the ground. Inversions, where your legs are above your heart, where your heart is below your head, gives you a moment and an opportunity to call yourself back down. So as you did when we started, can you breathe into the back and sides of your waist? Now you're more than welcome to stay here. Or in the metaphor of doing a few things in sets, you can roll over onto one side just so you can peek and take a look. And I'll have one more option of things to work towards. How'd that feel? Okay? If you don't like the blanket, there's no need to use it, but this is just a prop assist to give you lots of space in the back of the neck. So it's not like you don't want any weight on the back of the neck itself. But if this doesn't serve you and you're like, it's getting in the way, you don't have to use it, but I always like to offer it to start. So the next version that some of you guys were doing, just naturally coming up there, was the trifecta. I don't know if it's actually a trifecta, but there's the versions where you go from shoulder stand to plow pose to the version where you hold your knees against your ears. That's going to be the next option that I'll show you. If you see any parts of these and you're like, I'm great, no interest, please don't. Legs up the wall, shoulder stand with your legs straight. We'll meet you there very soon, lying down. And then we're going to get some therapy balls in before we come down to the earth. So this version looks like this. You can face the wall again. You come up, maybe a blanket, maybe no blanket, but with your hands alongside of you, you push your feet into the wall and really snuggle the shoulder blades together. Because the idea is that you're creating a small little bind between your chin and your chest so that the breath can move through more fully. Then 1 or both hands to your low back, and you stay here for 3 to 4 to 5 breaths. Then the next option is perhaps you bend the knees Or for plow pose, your feet reach up overhead. You can keep your hands behind your back. They can reach alongside of you. They can even interlace like they did in that wide-legged forward fold. Or, and the next stage, so this is step 2. The next one is with the knees bent. Maybe knees come to your forehead. Knees might come down towards the ears. And then you wrap your hands around your knees to give yourself a little squeeze. And then to come out, it's not just a plop, which I just did. It's a slow release. You come out the same way you came in. One leg up at a time, feet to the wall, and then you come down and you take 4 to 5 breaths here. The most important point of all of these versions, shoulder stand, plow pose, halasana, that version we're moving towards, is to really slow yourself down. There's no rush in going from one to the other. It's being able to find the fullness of your breath even with the space between your chin and your chest closed. Yeah? So if you want to try that, I'll talk you through it. If you're like, no interest, please don't. Legs up the wall, the version of shoulder stand, or you can lay down.
So the aim is to actually touch.
Touch.
Okay, how come the opposite? Let's do like it's like
It's in the traditional classical, it's the Jalandhara Bandha, which means it's a constriction of the throat, so you can focus on the breath coming in through the nose. But if it doesn't feel good, then keep the chin open. Yeah. So if you haven't already, feet to the wall, snuggle your shoulder blades together, and lift your hips up to the sky. Remember, 3 to 4 to 5 breaths in each variation. Perhaps you stay here in shoulder stand, or with one or both hands on the low back, you reach your legs up the wall to straighten. Take 3 to 4 to 5 breaths here, focusing on the space between your chin and your chest. If you'd like to move towards plow pose, either knees bent or legs straight, as you lift your tush to the sky and reach your legs overhead towards the front middle of the room. Your hands can stay on your low back, they can come down alongside of you towards the wall, or they can interlace, bringing your fingertips together. 3 to 4 to 5 breaths here. And then only if you so desire, you release the interlace of your hands, bend your knees, and maybe bring your knees to your forehead or knees to the outsides of your ears. And then your hands might wrap around your thighs or your knees to give yourself a squeeze. Take a breath where you are. Offer that breath out as best as you can. And then whenever you'd like to come out, slowly release the hold of your hands. Reach one leg up at a time towards the wall. Bring your feet to the wall. And as you release your hands from your low back, slow and steady, let your tush come down onto the ground. And take 3 to 4 to 5 breaths, laying against the earth. A deeper breath in and a longer breath out. Breathe into the back and sides of your waist. And when you feel ready to make your way out, you can bend your knees, slide your feet down the wall, reach one or both arms overhead, curl onto one side, watching for neighbors. Take as many breaths here as you'd like. And when the time comes, press yourself up to a seat. And can we find ourselves back to our original spots? How'd that go? That's one that I was like, I do it once a year. But in the month of inversions, it's a nice one to help really focus and feel the connection between the chin and the chest and the sides of the waist. Ava was asking, in that version, normally here we talk so much about creating space between the chin and the chest. And some of you who've practiced in different styles of yoga might have heard of bandhas or locks, energetic locks that you have in your body. You're thought to have one at the base of your spine, in the top of your belly, and then in the center of your throat. And the idea is those are places in which energy draws in, breath draws in, and energy draws out. So it's a moment to concentrate where your attention is going. In this form of yoga that we practice from here, we call them focal points. I'm getting on a diatribe, but we call them focal points, and they're places in your body that you draw muscle energy into and you extend outwards from. So they're almost these like pulsating waves and sets of origin that you can create steadiness from. And shoulder stand is one where you really feel the one in the throat, which you don't get in many other places. So let's get into some hips, and let's lie down with some therapy balls. So come down to sit on your tush for a moment, feet on the floor, knees bent. We'll take a breath in reverse table before we lie on the floor. So bring your hands behind your tush. You can face any direction. We're going to lie down in a sec. Hands behind your tush, thumbs face forward, or fingertips face forward. But keep your butt down and scoot your hips all the way towards your heels. Now keep your butt on the floor as you lift up through the chest. You can stay right here, or as you push down and forward through your feet, lift your hips up. Perhaps you look at your knees, or without cricking the neck, you want to slide the sides of your throat back, the ears back, so you can keep the breath full. You can almost have a conversation. Maybe you look up to the sky. Push down and forward through the legs to lift your hips. Push your palms down and apart to lift the back of your chest. Take a deep breath in. Stay for one more exhale. And then lower your tush all the way to the ground. Take a little turn and come to lie on your back so that your heads are up towards me. Your feet face the wall behind you. Have your therapy balls and one of your blocks close by. And if you need any of those things, you can raise a hand and I can bring them over to you. But as you come to lie on your back with your therapy balls and your blocks close by, release them off to the side and bend your knees as you bring both feet onto the floor. Hip opener first. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh for figure 4. We did the standing, but now laying on the earth. Flex through the right foot as much as you can. Stay here, or you might interlace your hands behind your left thigh as you lift the left foot up. Shrug your shoulders to your ears. Wiggle your shoulder blades towards each other. Now this is our second round of hip openers. Remember, it doesn't have to be your most expansive, most sensational one yet, but can you really breathe into the back of your body, into both sets of hips, and to all those points touching the earth? Now I invite you to stay right here, or for another version of this reclined pigeon, keep the ankles crossed, but release your hands from behind your left thigh. And now let your hands hold on to your right leg. So right hand holds the right thigh, left hand holds the right heel for this version of baby cradle. Lower the left foot down to the floor as you draw the right shin towards your belly. It's like pigeon lying on your back. Shrug your shoulders to your ears. Wiggle your shoulder blades towards each other. Now remember, options, please stay in the place that you can breathe in. Or you might release your left hand from your left hand from right heel and bring your left elbow towards your right heel. So you're bringing your left arm underneath your right leg, like you're giving it a hug. Let the left palm point towards your face as you give the right shin a hug in towards you. And then one last option, you might reach your right arm overhead towards the front of the room, the top of your mat. Perhaps you bend your right elbow as you lift your head, neck, and shoulders up off the ground and give yourself a pat on the upper back with your right palm. Maybe your right fingertips reach for the left fingertips as they interlace, giving that right shin a hug. I know, big old pretzel. Stay here. Or perhaps you straighten the left leg long out in front of you. Bound supine pigeon. Press your head back into that right forearm as you take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out. Now if you have a hold, slowly release the arms, release the legs, lower both feet back to the floor, and windshield wiper your knees from side to side. I know that one was a lot of Simon Says, but I was watching and everyone got a variation of what they wanted to do. If you'd like to see what it is before we go to the second side, just roll to one side or tilt your head so you can take a peek as an option. So we started in figure 4. Breathe here. Then we move to this version of half baby cradle. Breathe here. Our opposite hand comes underneath. Top arm reaches to the sky. Bring your hand behind your upper back, where your fingertips might interlace. And then maybe you push your foot forward. So pigeon pose, bound, as you press your head back. Yes? No obligation to do it. Figure 4 will give you a big hip opener, and that's what we're desiring. So as we try it on the second side, take a breath with your feet on the ground. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Stay here for a breath. There's no rush. Take a big breath in and a longer breath out. And then only if you so desire, interlace your hands behind your right thigh, lift the right foot, and bring them behind the right leg. Flex through both feet, shrug your shoulders to the ears, and snuggle your shoulder blades together. Stay here breathing. Or perhaps you release your hands from behind the right leg and use your hands to grab onto your left leg, half baby cradle. Lower the right foot to the earth as you hug the left shin in towards your belly. Flex through the left foot. Take a breath here. If you so desire again, your right hand might come underneath and behind the left ankle as you point your right hand towards your face like you're reading a book. Take a breath. Or as you curl your head, neck, and shoulders up off the ground, reach your left arm overhead, bend your left elbow to pat yourself on the upper back. Stay right here. Or as the head, neck, and shoulder curls, your fingers might interlace. Left fingers reach for right, right reach for left. As you press your head back into that left arm and maybe straighten the right leg long in front of you towards the earth. Take one more breath in this big pretzel. Stay for the exhale, and then slowly release the hold of your fingers, lower the head, bring both feet to the ground, and windshield wiper your knees from side to side once again. As the knees drop from right to left, take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out. And now once you've gone evenly from side to side, give your legs a hug in towards your belly or in towards your chest. Make any circles in one or the other direction. Lean from side to side. Perhaps you come towards happy baby. Take a bigger breath in and a longer breath out. And now release the hold of your legs. Locate your therapy balls. I'll talk you through therapy balls in the back of your head, but if there's any other region that your body is craving that you know of, please feel free to take this time to work at your pace. You can also set up early for rest. We'll meet there very soon. But you can keep the therapy balls in their tote or take them out, but lift your head just enough off the ground to pop those therapy balls to the very base of your skull, top of your neck, base of the skull. You might hold on to them if you feel like they'll slip out of the way. Or let your arms just drape alongside of you. Take a deep breath in through the nose and even open your mouth to let all of that breath go. Now begin to slowly nod your head yes and no from one side to the other, and feel the weight of your head heavy against those therapy balls. Even open and close your mouth to let your jaw soften. Let your tongue release away from the roof of your mouth. And once you've spent some time here at the very base of your skull, you can stay or bring them an inch or two higher than where they just were, to the middle of your skull. They can be close together, or if they're out of their tote, you can bring them wider apart. But begin to nod your head yes and no. When you nod your head no to the right, you might nod your head yes when you get there. When you nod your head no to the left, you might nod your head yes when you get there. But after a few breaths here against the earth, when the time comes, release the therapy balls off to the side and let the weight of your head drop down to the earth. Take a breath or two into what you don't see with your eyes, but you can very clearly feel. And the next place we'll meet is in rest for a few moments. So give yourself time to add or remove any layers or props. You might let your hair down or let your glasses set safely off to the side. Take up as much space as you'd like. And again, as you find rest in waves, in sets, can you let each soft and quiet breath, thank you, let you dissolve the breath, let you arrive to where you are now. And let each breath that continues to come after make space for what has yet to come. And as you let each audible or soft sound of your breath let you become heavier against the ground, the heavier you let yourself become, the lighter and more spacious you may just start to feel. If the brilliance of the mind wanders, which it has such a gift to do, can you call yourself back to the feeling of the floor deep below you? The sensation of the air around you, and the sound and fluency of your breath within you. Begin to deepen your breath. Take a longer breath in and a deeper breath out. Take another breath in, down and wide. And exhale to offer all of that breath out. Let your breath begin to slowly awaken the body that you're in and the being that you are, with any gentle movements that just feel sweet to you. You might roll your wrists or ankles in one or the other direction. Perhaps you tip your head from one side to the other, heavy against the ground. You're just watching for neighbors and props around you. You might reach your arms away from your legs or draw your knees in towards your chest. But when the time comes, we'll all meet with the knees bent, arms overhead as you roll to any side of your choice, to coil into yourself. Take a breath or two here, and when the time comes, push into the earth to rise to your comfortable seat, the same way we began. And with a tall spine and your eyes softly closed or open, take a deep breath in, down, and wide. And exhale to offer the breath up and out in each direction. Our time together will finish with one more of those breaths. You can gather your hands anywhere that feels like center for you, on your person or in front of your heart, as you take a deep breath in to let it all go. You might bow your head to your hands or lift your hands to your head in such a sweet and simple gesture of self-reverence, bowing to yourself and to one another who practiced alongside next to you. And I bow to each and every one of you all. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you. Drink lots and lots of water. Stay very cool as you can. I'll see you soon, either around or next to you in class. A couple announcements. Tomorrow, I know it's going to be hot. I know. But I'm teaching my once-a-year class at Bach Roof. So the Bach Rooftop Bar has a sunset yoga class. It's going to be Boyltown City, but it's supposed to be at sunset. It's supposed to be very beautiful, and 100% of the proceeds go to a local nonprofit that's based in Philly. The executive director of the nonprofit will be there. You can chat with them. It's through KG Strong, who runs the weightlifting and strength training program at Bach. She's incredible. So if you are around, I would love to see you. Otherwise, there's class every Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Yeah. 6 to, I think it's an hour-long class, and then you stay for sunset and a few beverages. It's very sweet every year, but I fully understand if you want to be in air conditioning. And then the other thing, Adriana and I are starting teacher training and immersion in the fall. So we just booked our time with Rupa and Sheena for all the mythology and philosophy and storytelling and anatomy practice. So if you're interested, it's end of September, which feels like a lifetime away. But it's not. If you're interested or know anyone else who would be, we always love to chat about it. Anyone else have announcements? Things going on in your lives, your worlds? Staying cool. Yeah. That's not gonna happen. Just gotta lean into the boil. I taught the sweetest class. It was so hot that day, but I taught one of the wellness on the waterfront classes. And there was a woman who was there who was just sitting, and I was like, "Are you okay? Do you need me to get you anything?" She's like, "I'm just a dripper, so I'm gonna drip here for as long as I need to." I was like, I've never resonated with something more, just leaking. I'm just a dripper. It'll manage, but I'm just gonna sit until it does. Yeah. Wait, which cats? In New York or here? Oh, Cat the person. Yes, how was it? Yeah. Really, in real life, but not Botox involved. Wow, thank you. Yay, I'm so glad. I saw you, sorry, I have to do this immediately.